As a beginner trader, entrepreneur, whatever you want to be, there's a lot of things you don't know that are actually important to be able to be successful in this industry. I asked you guys to ask me a couple questions about being an entrepreneur or a trader and my lifestyle just overall. And I'm going to answer every single one of your questions right now and give you guys the expert knowledge of what you need to do in order to reach those goals you have in life.
How much money can you start out with when it comes to options trading?
Okay, so this is a loaded question with a lot of people that really don't know the answer to it and what you can actually start with. You cannot start with $30. You cannot start with $50. You can't start with $75. You need to have capital to start in order for you to be successful. For example, these contracts for options contracts are what? $100 minimum for most contracts, and we can get up to $2,000 with Tesla contracts, stuff like that. So you need a supplement income on the side instead of just going straight off the money that you need to pay rent with. You need to pay the food you need to eat tonight with. You can't be trading with that type of money because one, you're going to be emotional about it. You're going to be emotional about that money because it has an attachment towards you. If you have an emotional attachment to the money you're trading with, you are never going to make good choices inside of the market.
Can we trade multiple different prop firms at once or just trade multiple accounts off the same prop firm?
Yes, you can trade multiple prop firms and you can trade multiple accounts on the same prop firm. It's called copy trading, and it's pretty simple. On any of these firms that you deal with, you could use Alpha, TopStep, all that. Code Dukes on Alpha for a discount. But you could copy trade at least 3 accounts on an Alpha Zeros account. You could trade 5 accounts at the same time on a TopStep account, and like 20 for Apex, I think, which is something crazy. But yeah, totally something that I think you should do. But you need to have a payout from at least one firm, one account, before you move on to the rest. A lot of people just start with 5 accounts on one firm and blow all of them at once and keep blowing 5 accounts at once. And it's expensive, right? If you're a beginner trader, you don't have a lot of capital. And you need to really focus on passing one account, getting the money from that payout, and then using it towards more accounts, more firms, and more allocation. Once you get to a spot where you can have at least 3-5 accounts on each firm and get 20-25 accounts overall, which is probably going to be around 500-700K of funding, you can go on a thing called Trade Syncer and copy all of them at the same time. And that's what all these people do. That's what I'm doing, and as well as options. But there is an options trading firm called Vanquish Trading that I just recently got affiliated with. Gives you the capital that you need because there's no other options funded accounts. And I think it's gonna be big very soon. So if you want that, I'll put the link in the description or whatever. Start out with one when you're a beginner. Start out with one. If you have not got a payout yet, start with one, get a payout from that so you don't just lose all the money you spend on 5 accounts at once. There's just no point of that.
How many trades a day would you consider overtrading?
It really depends on your rules, right? If you're a scalper, if you're a swing trader, if you are a whatever trader you are, it depends. Personally, I only take 2 trades a day, right? One in the AM, one in the PM. And if I lose both of them, I do not trade for the rest of the day. My max loss limit is 2 losses in one day, and I get off the charts. If I lose AM and I lose PM, I get off the charts. But personally, with my strategy, there's going to be a lot of setups, right? There's going to be a lot of setups during lunchtime. There's going to be a lot of setups during overnight, whatever there is, just because my strategy works a lot. But I only maximum trades I'll take in a day is 2.
Is it better to long-term trade or day trade?
They're both great. I do both, and they work very well for me. I think you have to figure out what you're good at. If you're not good at one of those, focus on one of those, right? You can't just expand, right? What I was saying with the prop firms. Focus on one thing until you master it, and then you can start expanding. What I do, and what I think the meta is, and I think a lot more people should do it that are experienced traders, I swing options trades, I swing on options, and I day trade on futures. And that maximizes my profits for the day because I can focus on my day trades with futures, get out of that, and then swing options calls, options puts, whatever it is for days and days, and not even have to worry about it.
When is the best time to scale into a trade?
I don't love scaling into trades. I'm a big, trimmer. I think if you have a setup that you're confident in and you don't take more than 5 trades a day, you don't really need to scale into your setups because you fully trust an A+ setup, which is the only trade I'll take as an A+ setup. Then you're going to go your max unit size for the day, whatever your risk management is, into that one trade because you are super confident in it. If something looks amazing, if it looks like it's pumping super fast, and we see a little pullback, I don't love averaging into trades like that. I really think that you should be confident right when you enter the trade, and you should have your full risk management set up right when you get into the trade. But it does work. A lot of people do it. If it works for you, then it works for you. But you don't usually do it now.
How do you find joy in the little things?
I like to have a life outside of the charts. I like to get off the charts whenever I'm done trading for the day, whether it's AM or PM, and I do whatever I want. Like, look where I live. Like, this is paradise. And if you don't have something else that you do in the day, and if you don't have, a hobby that keeps you going, you're going to be hyper fixated on trading, on the charts, and it's going to ruin your psychology. It's going to ruin how you trade on the day to day because you don't have anything else you're thinking about. Do something else. Have another goal, whether it's in the gym, whether it's with a relationship, whether it's you want to travel. Do whatever you want. You're young, go travel, do dumb stuff. Dude, have fun and don't take life too seriously. Seriously, it's something that I struggled with while I was, building up my trading, building up my businesses. You have to have some balance, right? As an entrepreneur, you're working 24/7, whatever you do. And the best thing about trading, I have financial freedom, obviously, from trading, but I also have location freedom and time freedom. So I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, wherever I want. And that's the best life.
What is the best and worst thing about being a full-time trader?
There's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad, but I say the best thing about being a full-time trader is what I was just talking about. The financial location and time freedom. I could trade from my computer from Dubai if I wanted to. I could trade from my computer or phone from a football game. I could trade from a basketball game. I could do it at the beach, right? That is the best part, as well as being an entrepreneur. It's the best thing. You have whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want. So the worst part about being a full-time trader, honestly, there's not a lot of bad things. But the worst thing about being a full-time day trader is people think you're unemployed. People are skeptical about how much money you make. People don't actually believe that this is a real thing. All these old heads are like, oh no, he's just scamming himself and this is never gonna work out in the long term. What you mean? But seriously, the worst thing is that, and also I get bored sometimes, dude. I get done trading in the morning. It's like, what else do I do? It's boring. It's gonna be boring, but hey, it's worth it.
What is your best advice on keeping your psychology in check?
Journal your thoughts. Talk about your thoughts. Have someone you consistently talk to and trade with, even better. I honestly, like, my best advice if you want to become, a full-time day trader and you have your boy that wants to, do the same thing, do it together. Have someone to keep you accountable. Have something to keep you accountable. And I'm a big advocate with journaling because journaling helps you release those weird, bad thoughts that you have while you're trading. Sometimes while I'm trading, or when I used to be unprofitable and when I'm trading, I would think the worst thoughts. I would seriously think like, dude, you're the stupidest person ever. Why would you do that? You're actually never gonna do this. But I got them out of my head because I started journaling them. I started talking to people about it, and it released those thoughts from my head. So I had a clear mind for the next day about trading. And you can't be discouraged. You can't be discouraged because this is the longest term skill you could ever have. If you learn this skill once, you will be able to compound your money with this trading skill forever and ever, unless the stock market crashes and the world ends.
How do you identify key levels easier, and what do you look for in them?
So this is specifically for my strategy. And I know a lot of people's strategies use key levels and draws on liquidity and stuff like that. I go to the higher timeframes because when the higher timeframes are showing big liquidity sweeps, they're better. The levels are better. They have more liquidity resting on them. And trading is all about liquidity. And when you can spot liquidity, that's where you'll find the best levels. So if you're back testing, you need to find key levels. See what happens when price goes into that area, right? See if it has a reaction. And the best advice I can give you on key levels is find the areas on the chart where price has the biggest reaction.
If someone is new to trading and doesn't know much, what would be a good tips to get started? And also, would there be a good place to start?
Get a mentor. Seriously, get a mentor. Like, I'm not just saying that because I'm a mentor. It took me 2.5 years to become profitable, right? And if I had a mentor, I promise you it probably would have been about 6 months. Just because it's like I was saying, it's someone keeping you accountable. It's someone not letting you make the same mistakes that they made while they were unprofitable trader. And that just expedites the process. But also, just understand this is a long-term game. Do not get discouraged over the short term. You are not gonna make thousands of dollars the first week of you trading. It's just not gonna happen. So if you're a beginner and you wanna start trading, these are the best tips I have for you. Find one asset that you wanna trade. Whether you wanna trade futures, options, Forex, whatever it is, right? If you're gonna trade options, Get a broker, Robinhood or Webull. If you're going to trade futures, get on a prop firm or a live account, depending on the capital you have. Have a supplemental income while you're learning because you're going to lose money. You're going to lose money when you start. It's just inevitable. Everyone does it, and that's how you learn. Do that. Get on TradingView. Learn how to read the charts. Get a strategy that you use every single day and do not quit that strategy. Stay with that strategy and do not strategy hop. But it takes time. Please do not be discouraged. It'll happen.
Which stocks have a high dividend yield that are good for long-term investment?
So for long-term investments, I do like AI and tech stocks, Chinese stocks. Those kind of stocks, again, I'm not a financial advisor. It's just my opinion. Those kind of stocks will have a long-term yield return, and they're strong. You got to think about the future, right? You got to think about the future when you're investing in stocks. What is our future right now? AI. These Chinese stocks, these up-and-coming startups that have a big future, not only in AI, but in robotics, pharmaceuticals, for example, NVIDIA, AMD, Meta, those are going to stay for a while, right? They're staying for a while. But the heaviest I'm invested in, I'm just going to say it, again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm invested heavily into SPY because SPY is always going to go up. It really is. Over time, over 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is, it's going to go up, right? So I'm heaviest into that.
What is the biggest mistake you can make in trading?
It's probably finding the best entry possible because it's so hard to find the best entry possible on the 1 minute time frame because there is going to be manipulations, right? And that's something that we all work on and we're all still going to work on because entries really do matter, but how you can really get around that and find the best entries possible, don't think that you should enter when it's already going to where you want it to go, right? You want to spot where the liquidity is. Spot where the liquidity is and have key levels and use the 3C strategy to find those key levels and find entry points because my strategy shows us where the entry points are. It shows us where the best possible entry point is because we only enter off of a retracement or a pullback, and that shows us where the liquidity lies. But my biggest advice for that, find an area of reaction. Find an area that price is going to react to and enter off of that. Again, when people are fearful, that's when you need to be greedy.
What are your favorite platforms for trading?
For options, I use Robinhood or Webull. For long-term stuff, Robinhood. Webull is best for the day trades and short-term swings. I also, for futures, I use Tradeovate Alpha Futures, code Dukes.
Why do you wait until 10 a.m. to trade?
Amazing question. This is something that's helped my trading exponentially. This has saved me from so many losses. But the reason is from 9:30 to 10 a.m., not only is there manipulation for these retail traders that don't even know what they're doing, they just want to gamble off, open or whatever it is. Two, there's data, right? There's data that's going to drop usually at 10 a.m. A lot of these red folder news, candles, folders, they drop at 10 a.m. and that really reverses price because they're high impact news candles and high impact news folders. But overall, it takes me away from the manipulation of the market. The market usually opens up and manipulates before it makes the big move of the day. And that is another reason that I've been so profitable because I wait till 10 a.m. to dodge the manipulation and use 10 a.m. as a resource to catch the big move.
Do you think 2026 will be bullish or bearish, and why?
Guys, we're in a bull market. We got to be honest with ourselves, with our administration, with our market sentiment. We're bullish. We are very bullish right now. And I know we've never been this type of market before, this Trump market, whatever it is, with all these tariffs and stuff. So there's going to be dips. There's going to be dips all the time. And they're going to be short-term dips because our volume is so high now that we make freaking $40 moves, 400-point moves in 30 minutes nowadays. So overall, we're bullish right now until probably the next couple of years. We might see another big dip like we did this past year. But for now, we're in a bull market. So don't listen to people that, the sell-off. Dude, shut up.
What would you say to those that call trading a scam?
A lot of people call trading a scam because they don't actually know. They don't actually see face to face what can actually come from this. Look at me. I want to be a prime example of that. I started door dashing. I was broke. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. And then I found trading only because I saw it was possible. What you need to do is see that it's possible, or else you're not going to believe anything, right? You need to see that people actually make money from it. You need to see that people actually have results from it. And it's more of a long-term game than a short-term game. If you think trading is a scam, first of all, you're an idiot because look at me, look at all these people. I mean, it's really changed our lives and I don't know what else to say. If you have a strategy, if you have something that you do every single day that you follow rules with on the charts, you are going to be profitable. And until you're profitable, you're not going to believe it. So all I can say is become profitable and you can believe it.
What made you start trading?
I started trading because in high school, again, I've always been a hustler. I've always been an entrepreneur. I always loved money from a young age. And at the age of 20, being this successful, it's a big blessing, but I can attribute it to being that hungry from 15, 16 years old. Because if I wasn't hungry back then for money, if I wasn't hungry for success, if I wasn't hungry to help my family out, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. I also met one of my good friends, RP Profits. We went to school together forever, and we used to always talk about being an entrepreneur and hustling and all that and making money at a young age. And we kind of had a different mindset than everyone else in our class. And he showed me, his charts back in high school. I remember back in science class, he showed me a chart and how he's making money from it. And I was like, okay, just like I was saying, now I see it's possible. So I'm gonna do everything I can to be successful at it. And don't get me wrong, I slacked off, dude. I wasn't totally locked in for a while. That's why it took me so long to become profitable. But I saw that it's possible. And I didn't have really a mentor. I didn't have anyone to do it. So I had to do it all by myself. I did all the free education. I bought, courses, and I invested in myself. And that really brought me to where I am today. But it took a while. And it's something that I never regret starting, and I will never stop trading in my life.
Do you have a new whip on the radar?
I can't tell you guys that right now. You guys just got to see. All I want to do is show you guys that this is possible. Look at me as an example. I was just like you. I was in high school, I was young, I was broke. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, and I knew that I did not want to be one of those college frat boys that just gets a job handed to them that makes $100K a year for the next 10 years and build up from that. I wanted to be different. I wanted to really be successful in what I wanted to do. I wanted to find my passion, and if your passion's something else, then so be it. But my passion was trading, and if your passion's trading, go all in on it, because you can never fail unless you quit. And that is the bottom line, and that's what I'll always live by. If you want to be a trader, and if you want to be a profitable trader with a proven strategy, I have a link in the description below to be one-on-one mentored by me, literally hands-on. I hold your hand to profitability from A to Z with a bunch of info, a bunch of analysts, and a bunch of course videos and one-on-one sessions with me. Click the link down below and I'll set you up on a call with my team to get started. This is super possible, guys, and I'm a prime example. Never quit.